they don't do those certain things, that could be a huge cancer.
And so while they are technically sufficient, they are culturally a mess. And all right, well, we're going to dive right on in to our blog of the week. I feel like we need a drum roll or something that says how awesome our blog of the week is, because this month is all centered around one of our I think it's one of our crown gem products. We've definitely been doing a lot of them lately. The agency assessment. Heath, do you want to tell our loyal listeners what an agency assessment is, just so that they have some context?
Yeah, first of all, I will say hi. And second of all, we just dove right in. No foreplay, no talking ahead, just right in. I do love this new format. I will say that. I think it's really cool that people are responding to this new blog format and everything. I think it's going really well. Also, to answer your question, the agency assessment, I've done quite a few of these lately, and it's been a lot of fun because it's a checkup. It's a physical on your agency. Instead of us just going and assuming, or you assuming what's going on in your agency, it's a way for us to open the hood, look underneath and see what's going on, see how things are going. We talk to teammates. It's a super cool thing that we do within your agency to help you to get that next level you want to be at.
Yeah, we like to say growing agencies have growing pains.
Yeah.
So it's right. It's part of the process and the plan. And this week's blog is kind of like, I took a spin on the idea of like, what are the things that we see that you could do to prevent problems when you're growing? And I get to work with a lot of the top agencies in the country. And as they're growing, when these things are in place in an agency, things just tend to work a ton better, right? Like things are more harmonious. So they've cleared out problems. Agencies that don't have these things, it's like when they grow, it's almost like explosive, everybody out of the pool, there's a big problem, and then they have to fix that and then go back to growth. And the thing I want to say is, if your agency is facing this, where you have just as many opportunities as challenges, that this is the podcast for you, because you're torn in too many different directions and you end up firefighting and you don't end up growing. But when you go through, and we're going to talk about these 6 things, your agency has these. And when I say has them, and Heath, I want you to weigh in on this too, not just has them, but actually they're accurate and in use. Like, for example, many agencies have job descriptions, but they are not accurate and used and enforced. They're from 5 years ago.
Right, like I was going to say, or updated.
People.
Right, or they have a process, but maybe they don't follow it, or nobody's clear on it because it hasn't been communicated, or we think we do this, or we think we do that, or we focus on new business, but everybody does it a different way.
Right. Or that's a good one, right? Like,
yeah,
like we think we do, but do you know?
And that's the thing. When we see the results from the surveys, it's like the questions it's real simple and the answers are all over the board. Do you have a mission statement and what is it? And it's like everybody's answer is different. It's like, I don't think you've clearly communicated your mission.
Right. Or I like to say that you had an agency recently where, we don't have a lot of monoline. And then we pull the dashboards and it's like, actually,
that's the thing. Yeah, that data that's there, that's, I know, a big buzzword, but you can't, those numbers can't lie. So if someone tells you we don't have monoline, and we're like, let's just take a look at it and see. Oh, we have 3,000 monoline policies? What in the world? It's like, okay, maybe we do have an issue. So it's one of those things, numbers can't lie.
Exactly. So let's start at the top. And this is one that took me a long time to come around on. So I'll be honest with you, I'm a recently converted believer in this, but I felt like I had to probably grow the company for a few years to get to a place where I could do this too. So if you're one of those agencies that's like, yeah, we're good, we don't really need a 10-year vision, Kelly. We just don't, noted, you can put something together, but we don't need it. And sometimes we come across those clients and I always just say, I won't work with you if you don't want to put together your 10-year vision. And the agencies that are growing and they're growing seamlessly have a 10-year vision, because the 10-year vision explains to everybody why things are changing. But what say Heath, share in the
I was just going to say the biggest thing on that, I'm like you on that. It took me a while, but it gives you something to shoot at all the time. Otherwise, you're just out there roaming around aimlessly. It's your flashlight in the dark of like, what are you doing? Like, why are we doing this? Because we want to grow by X amount of dollars. Or why are we doing this? Because our vision says this. Or why do we do what we do because of that? And if you don't have that why, to quote Simon Sinek, I guess, then what are you doing it for? And so I end up finding myself pointing back to that when I'm working with clients and they're like, well, we want to do this. Wait a minute. Does that fit your 10-year vision? Or they'll be like, I don't know what to do in my 1 year. I was like, let's back into that. Okay, the 10 years this. So what does it take every year to get to that? And so it's, for me, it's a lot of fun because I get to put my agency owner hat back on. I get all excited and it's fun for me to go through this with people. And so again, it goes back to, you don't want to shoot in the dark.
But not only that, like your business only has so many resources, right? So part of being a CEO is you have to be a steward of your resources, whether that's financial, your people's time, what you want to attack. And having a 10-year vision clearly says like, we're going to be tech forward. So as technology is introduced, the team understands that this is part of the vision. It's not happening to them, it's happening for them to hit the vision, right?
Well, you nailed it. The people. That's the thing. You can't expect them to be able to follow and go in the right direction if you don't give them that direction.
Mm-hmm.
I know that sounded weird, but you know what I mean.
No, I do know what you mean. And the 10-year vision then also to me says, as a business owner, there's definitely agency owners that I call it, they have the life where they can take the vacations, they can work on the business, they have a great quality life, the team respects them. And then there's agency owners that we also work with. This is the other side of the spectrum that are like bleeding out at their business. They're working 80-hour weeks. They're covering all the gaps. They're overextending themselves because they want to grow so badly that they're doing it on their own two shoulders, other than making it a real agency team. And if you're in that bucket where you feel like everything's on you, you need a 10-year vision because you need to envision what you're working for and what your life needs to be like. And then you need to say, well, by January 1st, this is what's got to happen. And then you need to find the people, make the expenditures, take a no excuse, a zero excuse approach to getting there. Otherwise, you'll wake up in 5 years with nothing different.
Yeah. And I think you're right. And breaking it down into smaller bite-sized chunks helps a lot. 10 years sounds like, oh, that's a lot. But then you break it down to 5 years, then maybe even 1 year. And then one of the things that we do at APB is quarterly. We measure that quarterly. And at first I was like, Kelly, this is crazy. But now that I look at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm already a fourth of the way to my goal. Oh, I'm halfway there. And if we measure that every quarter, it really helps a lot.
Well, I think sometimes people don't want to do the vision because they feel like, well, what if something happens? What if this? What if I can buy an agency? Like, or they say, what if I can't find a group benefits person? What if I can't find an agency to buy? We say, like, you have to put it out in the universe as an intention. Otherwise, it's never going to come to you. So
you can play what ifs all day long. What if you write $1 million account tomorrow? You don't know what's going to happen.
No. And so the idea is it can adjust, it can change. Hey, we're not in control. No one knew there was going to be a pandemic. Many people's 10-year visions had to change, and that's okay.
Yep.
But when you have no target, you're just doing things because you feel like doing them versus an intentional use of your power, your manpower and your resources, your finances. You're not going anywhere. You're sort of just hope is your strategy, and that's never going to be a good long-term strategy.
You're exactly right.
And they're not easy to do. I will say this, like sometimes you might think you need to lock yourself in a quiet room with a bottle of bourbon to figure out what you want to be when you grow up. But if you don't, you're going to constantly be band-aiding problems as opposed to fixing them for that 10-year vision. And that's something I preach to people a lot is I can give you any agency that you desire. You have to tell me what you desire.
Yep. And I love that you say hope is not a strategy. I mean, I've heard that from you so many times, and it just really resonated with me that agencies shouldn't have that as their strategy.
Nope, they should not. So that is one. The next one is our values. And one of the reasons that I'm so passionate about values, I'll just say a quick story. You've got someone on your team that has been with you for 30 years, right? Long-term veteran, loyal, insurance encyclopedia, knows all the management system, just knows all the blocking and tackling. But for the love of Pete, every time you talk about something in a meeting, the eyes roll and you can hear it. Resistant. New people come in and it's like this person either likes you or hates you, and they're going to make a decision on what happens. And so maybe they're queen bee, maybe they're working behind the scenes, but they are not 100% on your team. But you feel, gosh darn it, like if I lose this person, I am screwed.
Right.
So for many people, that person technically strong on the job description probably gets an A+, but it's the other gray area stuff that they are abysmal at.
100%. And it's more than what's on that job description. It's the behaviors and it's the things that get them to those things. And it's those, like you said, it's those behaviors that if they don't do those certain things, that could be a huge cancer.
And so while they are technically sufficient, they are culturally a mess, and you can't nail them. Like you don't catch them talking smack, right? You don't catch them doing a lot of those things. And so it's hard to hold them accountable because you almost want to say, like, if you've ever dealt with somebody that has an addiction, like very rarely are they going to shoot up in front of you. That doesn't
Right?
happen. But there's like 700 clues that this is not on track. But most people are in denial about a loved one that has addiction problems. So it's like, well, I haven't actually seen them blow lines on my dining room table.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But randomly $50 is missing and they look strung out a lot and they're falling asleep. It's like all the signs point to ding ding, but we want, like, in the court of law, can you prove without a reasonable doubt that they are this? And so that's a lot what people deal with. And Heath, maybe you could share a little bit about how values help solve that challenge.
Well, yeah, I think in this context, I could tell you, I'll get personal for a second. I mean, I may be, which I personally believe, I'm a really good trainer, really good at all the things that I'm good at. But if I'm not taking, like, some of the values we have at APP is being organized and taking care of those things. If I'm not doing that, I'm letting my team down. If I'm not communicating effectively, if I am at the zero inbox by the end of the day, which is a big APP thing, I am not helping the team. Those values that we have, I'm letting the team down. And so if that continues to go on, and you just allow me to have 5 million emails in my inbox, and I don't respond in 24 hours, and I don't take care of the things that take care of the team because it's part of our values, no matter how good of a trainer I am worthless to the team at that point.
Well, and I will say this too. I think if in the blog, there's actually a copy of our values and we talk about them all the time, right? We talk about them on our team meetings. We talk about them like every week, and we give shout outs based on the values. So it's not something that's just like, oh, here it is over here. We just don't live by them. I feel like one of the things we actually do really well is going ahead and living by our values and holding each other accountable to them.
Yeah, I think that's huge to be like to say what's one win, one loss, one of the things you've done well, and how you're improving on these things. And so I think it's really cool. That's one of the things that we do. And I know a lot of agencies do that as well. And if you're not doing that, I think you should definitely incorporate that in your values and in your agency culture. Absolutely.
So next up, we have, drum roll please, job descriptions. Our number one process pack that gets purchased on our online store. And if you look at our blog, there's actually a coupon code. It's either 15 or 20%. You can go ahead and grab that coupon code for getting all 12 of our job descriptions that are templated with metrics for each job description. You just take them as Word documents, tailor them to your own agency. But I think it's really hard to be a team member when you're not clear on what your job is, right? Or people make up their own jobs. Like, well, it only takes me 5 minutes to do a certificate, so I'm just going to do it myself versus getting them to the VA because it takes me just as long to get to them.
Right. Or the other thing I see a lot in agencies with these kind of issues are you got 14 people doing the same job. Like, why are you doing this and this person and that person? Why do we have so many people spending time doing this one task?
Yeah, 100%. Or the other thing is the person is 100, like definitely dying at their desk. Talk about how overwhelmed. They're so busy. And then you look and they're doing the work that you're paying somebody else to do. Or there's a green person. This is my favorite. They're green, new to insurance. They're supposed to do this, but we don't trust them yet. So we hold on to their work and our work, tax ourselves out, have mental breakdowns. New person cannot learn. They cannot learn. We all learn the same way and we hold back somebody else's career. And I just find that to be so sad.
If I could even say, take it a little bit further and maybe step on a toe or two, there's some agency owners that deal with these same problems that they don't want to give up certain things. And they end up coming to us and saying, Kelly, help, Heath, help. And we're like, wait, you've got to give this up. We can't help you unless you're willing to stop doing these things.
Well, I push back on people all the time. I'm like, it takes me just as long to do it. So then for 2 months, take that same time, give it to somebody else, check their work. And in 2 months, you never have to do it again. Like one way has an end goal. The other way keeps you exactly where you are, which is overwhelmed and upset and burned out and frustrated. And that is not a good scenario.
You're exactly right.
So number 4. Now we're on number 4. This one might seem like a shameless plug, but it's not. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna let everybody know it's not a shameless plug. So you have your 10-year vision. Maybe you want to be an $10 million agency, whatever you want to be. Everybody's is going to be different. And you come out and you do this big meeting like we do. We call it Agency 2.0. We tell everybody the vision. Everybody gets pumped and psyched. And it's like, well, go to your desk and go do it. And there's absolutely no way to break down a 10-year goal into what are we actually going to do to get there, whether it's we're going to cross sell, we're going to work on retention, we're going to hire 2 producers. You have to have a strategy when you have a vision of what you're going to do this year to hit that goal. And then the second component of it is you need to train your biggest expense, which is your people, on how to hit the goal. So if you have the best trained team that knows how to cross sell, know how to save accounts, know how to talk about price, your agency is going to be unstoppable. If you have agency that's literally, because this is a big one that we get to deal with, I can't talk about life insurance because I'm not licensed. You absolutely can. Well,
Right.
what if they ask me a question I don't know?
Right.
Well,
yeah.
you get the person who does know and you just say
Right.
they're going to call you, but you can talk about life insurance. But they're really saying, I don't know how to say it. I don't know what to say. It's out of my comfort zone. Can someone please help me? And agency owners think we tell people something. I tell them to do it and that's enough. Until you time out, there needs to be a written strategy and there needs to be training for your team, which is why we exist, right?
Right. Exactly. You nailed it. And I think it comes down to, it's not easy. The things that in training and strategy and all the things we're talking about are not easy things. And people just think, oh, I tried it for a week. It didn't work.
A whole week? You tried it for an entire week?
Right.
And then we talk about the freaking first times. You got to do something 10 times before you can even make a comment about it, right? But you as a leader have to have a strategy that's written down so everybody knows what's going on. And then you need to train your team on that strategy. And if you're not doing that, you're using hope and you're not maximizing your biggest resource, which is your people.
You got it. You nailed it.
And if you need trainers, I think you should call us because that's what we do.
Yeah, I know a couple people.
I know some people.
Right. I'll have my people call your people.
Number 5, because we have 5 minutes left before we have to depart and go on separate meetings. Transparent reporting.
Numbers don't lie.
They don't have feelings. They don't tell a story. So numbers in agencies are frustrating because it's 4 things that can jack them up. And usually you just see a report and say it's wrong and give up and go back to your office and pretend like it's not happening. Agencies in 2022 have to commit to the data and the reporting being right. And I'm curious what say you, Mr. Sharon?
I think you're right. I think, again, I hate buzzwords, but the whole clean data thing, it's a real thing though. I mean, if you don't put the accurate data in, if you don't put data in at all, it's hard to measure, it's hard to track. And so it's so funny when we talk to agencies like, oh, those aren't right, those numbers aren't right. Well, did you update and put it in the system? Well, no. Did you put that close? Did you close that deal and put the right number? Well, no. Well, no wonder your sales are showing less, or no wonder you didn't get credit for that cross sell. You didn't put it in the system. So I think you have to be willing to put the work in, do that. And again, if you want to have that success measured, it's got to be in there clean and it's got to be in there correct and it's got to be in there period. As you would say, if it's not in the system.
It didn't happen. Didn't happen. And the last one is communication, right? So in every agency I've ever done an assessment on, when the top 3 things is communication. We want more communication. We want to know what's happening, when it's happening, how it's happening. And a lot of agencies just get a meeting together and say, we're going to do this now. Have a nice day. And no one knows what's going on, or half the people aren't there, or it starts in the rumor mill. And so one thing that we did at APP was actually come out with a clear communication strategy of, if it's a big communication, if it directly impacts your role, what does it look like? And then we put it on people's one-on-one meetings. We have separate meetings. Communication is key because so much time is wasted when people are stepping on each other's toes.
Yeah, and can I say that's got to be also in one, I shouldn't say one place, but it should be like organized in one area. It can't be, well, I emailed it and I texted and I sent it to the Snapchat and I sent it to this and this or that. It's got to be in one place. Like for us, it's all in our CRM. For you guys, it may be in your management system, or it may be here or there, Slack, whatever it might be, but it's got to be across the board, equal, the same, clearly defined where you're communicating.
And also too, like, people need to know on the team what their responsibility is in the communication, right?
Sure.
Like, I expect you to have reviewed this before our meeting. I expect you to watch this video before we have our meeting. And I expect you to know where to go to get the information in case you don't do it all the time. But there has to be a 2-way street, I think.
Yep, I agree.
So if somebody's interested in this agency assessment, can you give them a little rundown about what's included in our agency assessment, just so people know?
Yeah, the agency assessment includes a survey that's a very extensive survey that everyone on your team will take that will uncover a lot of things. It will also include interviews by your consultant that will come on staff and on site, and interview your team. I'm trying to talk fast. And we'll get through all that with your team. We'll talk about certain things and uncover things. Then, as Kelly likes to say, we'll lock you in a room and we'll go through your vision. We'll talk about the 10-year vision, the 5-year vision, the 1-year vision, what it looks like. And then we stay with you and help you after that. It's not like we're going to pat you on the butt and say good luck. We're going to actually, I should say back. I don't want to have the issue there. But anyway, we're not going to just walk away. We're going to be with you on bi-weekly calls. We're going to come back out and announce the big changes and what we're doing and help you to get the team excited. And we're going to have a party and do all the fun stuff. And then we stay with you some more and make sure that these job descriptions are working out. The plan's okay. And just stay with you. It's like.
And the reporting dashboards. Don't forget the reporting.
See, I'm trying to talk too fast. You go ahead on that. I'll take a breath.
You get all the reporting dashboards so you can see what's going on with your agency. We're going to fist fight through that with you so that we can see what's going on and you'll have clear, transparent reporting. So
and another little ninja trick, you also have access to the performance pack through that 6 months. You have
do.
all of our programs.
All of them.
There.
All the stuff in the school there. You get access to a Heath or a Kelly, all of the things, all the greatness. So that's what we have for you guys today. We appreciate y'all for listening. Check out the blog, get that discount code for the job descriptions. We have a free download too of the 12 common agency challenges so you can see where your agency matches up. But I have to let the mayor go, reign over the insurance town supreme. And we will catch you on another roundtable next week. We'll see you guys.
Yes, ma'am. Have a good one.